I think I was like stress eating because we had little kids. So I was like, I'm just going to get some pizza. I just want a slice of pizza. And I literally got the slice of pizza, got to my seat, took a bite, and was like, this is the worst pizza I've ever had in my life.
You know the podcasts that start with just like the bullshit conversation beforehand?
Yeah.
That's where this podcast should start.
All right, here comes the music.
This is The Extra Point, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast, sponsored by your Phoenix Suns.
Hey, let's talk sports in our Monday edition of What Did We Just See, recapping the weekend, looking ahead, and man, is there a lot to talk about. So in front of me, the one, the only Nick King on the sports desk here at Arizona's Family all weekend. How was your weekend covering sports here in the Valley of the Sun?
It was pretty good, other than going home from work last night to find that my dog was very sick.
Oh, is he okay?
This is where we're starting the show.
Okay, that's fine. Yes, we're all concerned about McFly.
I got him this enormous femur bone at the farmer's market on Saturday.
Okay, they sell
Weighs
those?
like 25
An
pounds.
actual femur? Like it was someone's actual femur at one point?
I think it's from a dinosaur.
Okay. That's technically a fossil. Yeah.
I was mesmerized by it, but it made McFly sick. And we were giving him a bath at like 2 a.m. last night because he had gotten very sick in his crate while I was at work.
Well, was it like a fresh femur bone? I mean,
I don't know what it had on it.
Okay.
But anyway, sports, despite the Cardinals being off and no more college football other than Army-Navy, it was a pretty poppin' weekend, actually. Yeah.
Is there no more college football at this point? Because I feel like it's just getting started. Brad Denny from Speak of the Devils podcast, he runs the digital desk here at Arizona's Family, and my head has been spinning all day. How has your day been spent as you look at how Arizona State's going to rebuild this roster?
Yeah, there's no offseason in college football. So, yeah, of course, Army-Navy had Jaden Daniels, former Sun Devil, hoisting the Heisman on Saturday, which is cool. I believe the FCS playoffs are underway, but of course the real thing is the madness of the transfer portal. And we saw some of the first wave. ASU had some defections, but now after a huge weekend, they've starting to get some big time commits now to kind of bolster their ranks.
All right, so you're going to talk to one of them, but the big news today is Arizona State got a quarterback. You've had a chance to chat with him a little bit, or you're going to chat with him more. What's kind of the update there, and what should we expect on the Speak of the Devils podcast?
Yeah, Sam Leavitt, a four-star quarterback out of the 2023 class. We went to Michigan State out of Oregon and played in a couple games last year, redshirted, jumped in the portal after kind of obviously the coaching change, and now he's was one of the visitors on this big-time weekend and is committed to become a Sun Devil. So now that kind of sets up a very intriguing situation where you have the last year's four-star in the 2023 class, Jaden Rashada, now joined by Sam Leavitt. So let's go. Yeah.
Can we talk about mysterious Twitter posts?
That's like all we talk about. That should be our whole. That should be. We should just change the name of the show to Mysterious Twitter Posts.
Yeah, that definitely has fueled some. In the folks in the orbit, in the immediate family. It's like some cryptic texts or tweets that. It's
so Harlan Rashada, Jaden's dad, for ASU alum,
has been in the studio.
He could join our seat here. We're waiting on Julia Lopez, by the way. She's going to join us at some point.
Tweets like a loading graphic, which is kind of like what Kenny Dillingham tweets when there's going to be news about someone committing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, okay, so my take, Brad, interested in yours, was like, all right, either this is just, okay, this is cool, this is more good news for ASU, we're fully on board, or we're loading my son going somewhere else now.
That has been a popular fan interpretation, and I just because ASU, of course, has the battered fan syndrome, and historically for good reason.
Another great name for a podcast.
Always Something University has beat this fan base down over the decades, and so. But I do think that there's that at this juncture and this particular thing. I mean, he's also been retweeting a lot of like the commitments and being very positive. Obviously, he bleeds maroon and gold, having been part of that Rose Bowl team. So I think at this point, it's not necessarily, Jaden's, jumping in the portal. Jaden himself really likes being here. He likes being out of the spotlight, just being able to focus on football. He's happy. Now, he's also not getting what he's worth on the NIL front, but obviously after a year like last year, where he gets injured at the second game and has a really kind of rough return in the finale, who knows what the market is there. It's probably more than he was getting last year, but we'll see. I think maybe after spring, it could be a more viable thing if the Leavitt, Jaden Daniels, Jaden Rashada situation maybe is going a certain way. But I don't think ASU fans should be bracing for that impact at this point. I think the main key players for the departures for the portal, I think have gone in so far. With Conyers, Green, and Clark.
Do you think that they get more back than they give up? I mean, as you look at the roster last year and you think, okay, I think Kenny Dillingham might have overachieved with that roster. I mean, they beat UCLA with the swinging gate, for crying out loud. And maybe not with the roster, but just with all the injuries and basically the hand that he was dealt. And I'm not here to be, I think Kenny Dillingham has got to put together some good seasons here quick, or people are going to get very impatient around here, and that's just the nature of college football. But is Kenny Dillingham, especially with the offensive coordinator he just hired and the guys he's able to bring in, do you see a path for the roster to be able to compete in the Big 12 here quickly if they're able to get some of the guys that they want?
I think it all comes down to what they do on the offensive line.
Yeah.
So far, they've brought in 8 for transfer commits. They also just picked up a 4-star running back commit out of the high school ranks. So the infusion of talent should be better. This roster is probably a 2, 3, 4 year process of churning over, getting the Herm Edwards out of the walls, so to speak, because they had to just really kind of
like the quarterback that went to LSU and won the Heisman. Him,
yeah.
The running back that went to Ohio State.
Adam Brenneman had a great tweet over the weekend where he just listed the 2021 Sun Devil offense, and it's just like just dude after dude after dude. I mean, we got Rashad White in the NFL, Ricky Pearsall, Johnny Wilson, Jaden, the Heisman. And then, of course, Hermball, just, they were like 60th in scoring with that. So, like that, I mean, the program is obviously in a bad way. So it is a multi-year process. But I do think in terms of, what we couldn't see in that year one, it all comes down to the offensive line. And so far, of the 8, they've addressed some key needs like tight end, defensive back, linebacker, obviously quarterback and Sam Levitt. But where's the beef on the offensive line? That's going to be coming down, I think, the whole season, really. Are they going to be able to address the offensive line with some dudes? And the going rate for starting quality Power 5 linemen in this conference or across the country, I mean, is it in ASU's budget, I guess, so to speak?
Wow.
We'll see. I mean, because they have no offensive line commits. There's a couple that they've had in for visits and that they're pursuing. We'll see maybe in the coming days. But as of now, some good dudes right now, but you need the linemen.
Is Nick going to have to take a pay cut as a professor at ASU to get this done?
You're a team player, Nick.
Yes.
Your reaction to seeing Jaden Daniels win the Heisman over the weekend?
Mixed emotions. It was strange. I'll be honest, I didn't get to see a ton of LSU this year. It was strange because the last time I had really watched him was such a struggle. And, I mean, the passing game his third year at ASU was a mess.
Right.
And it was like, this dude is the guy that's going to go to the NFL and be good. Like, I don't see it. Now you see it. And I liked Jaden when he was here. And then, like, his freshman year was really fun and beating Oregon and felt like there were the Michigan State game. And
yeah,
there was a lot to like. And then it was pretty sour toward the end. So happy for the kid, but it was just kind of like, it was kind of surreal to see, knowing everything that happened here on the way out.
How ASU can you get? And I mean, is that the most ASU thing the most always something university thing that we've seen of all the Herm guys going to other places?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah. I mean, the guy that was brought in with so much fanfare, and then as you mentioned, just that 2019 season, so much promise. Like, okay, and you basically cap it with the. Taking down number 6 Oregon and keeping the Territorial Cup, and then you think, all right, so much momentum. Then the pandemic hits, and you have that weird season. All right, then they have a massive 2020 recruiting class that sets up a huge 2021 with Jaden at the helm. You got your quarterback, you got your dude, all the weapons, and then the allegations hit, and then that season doesn't go well. And as Nick talked about, like just the offense, just with all those weapons that have turned out to be exceptional players that are going to be playing on Sundays, and you do nothing with it because #Hermball.
Wow. And then you see Herm tweeting, and that angers a lot of people. And then he's turned off the comments.
He's basically like an even worse version of Magic Johnson on Twitter these days. It's so uninteresting.
That's another great name for a podcast. I mean, yeah, were you reading Herm's tweets and like interested in what he had to say, or was it just stop?
No, because he's not interesting on Twitter. He's great in front of a camera, but his tweets are nothing burgers.
Yeah, just looking to see the quote tweets where people are just dunking on him. Because it's just the value of the tweets. No.
Right. Well, I mean, that's one huge story in ASU, and we thank you for being here. And you have to, you have a yoga class at 6:15 to get to. Is that right?
Oh man, I wish.
There's the timer going off. That's really funny. So Julia Lopez is actually supposed to be joining us at some point, and I don't know if she's going to join us in studio. But Joe, behind the mic, have we heard from Julia? Is she going to make it up here?
I haven't heard from her. I can call her. You want me to call her?
Why don't you give her a call? See if she's going to make it up here. Yeah, we got a fourth chair here. So, but the other big, there we're calling her. I'm interested because she's the Southern California native, and I mean this Ohtani contract is
and
just
an Angels fan.
Oh yes,
$68 million of the 70 deferred.
How do you do that?
And apparently it's legal. They looked and they're like the deferral cap doesn't exist.
Right.
It's wild.
Hi, is Julia there? Hey. What are you doing?
Downstairs.
We were thinking maybe the great Julia Lopez would join us here in studio, but are you how's everything in our sports department?
Good. Let me see if I can flip this around. So I'm actually working on a Trey McBride story that will air tonight.
Hashtag BTS.
What does that mean?
Behind the scenes.
Oh, there we go. I thought it was a Colorado State thing.
I don't even know I didn't hear what it is.
Oh, it's behind the scenes. I think you're breaking up. Oh,
You should take the elevator and come upstairs.
You should
take this mic.
Or just okay. So we got Trey McBride tonight on the Extra Point. Just real quick because you're working, so don't worry about coming up here. How'd the Cardinals look in their their week off? Did they look refreshed today?
I would say that they are ready to go. Obviously, having that week off is huge. The late bye week, 14 days in, they needed it a little bit earlier, but I'm just glad that they're happy to be back on the field. Trey McBride, obviously, all smiles. We're going to hear from him, and he's having a heck of a season, you guys. 56 catches already for a tight end, which ties a franchise record. So he'll definitely be adding to that soon.
I did not like his prior performance or his most recent performance against my Steelers.
Right. No, he's turning into Gronk, and you think about
yeah.
Like Steve Keim has gone through the ringer, much like Herm is going through the ringer right now. But if you look at Steve Keim, that's a draft pick that he nailed. So, J-Lo, and we know you got to work, so just real quick, leave us with this. Ohtani, as an Angels fan, are you weeping? She can't even talk about it.
Obviously, I love my Angels, but I know that they've been going through some hard times recently, and the guys like Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, you feel bad for them because they have like all in the world, and they're not competing for championships, and that's what they want to do. They want to win, and I don't blame him for going to a franchise that's going to win in the next 2 to 3 years. So.
No, for sure, and it's going to be interesting for the Diamondbacks. All right, we'll talk more about that. Your phone, we're gonna have to get someone's gonna have to look at your phone because.
Is it not working?
No, your phone stinks. So, but you're great.
What's going on with it?
It just keeps freezing in the middle of your point.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's all right.
At least it's a trial, you know.
Yeah.
Let's try this out and work through the kinks of it.
Right, and this is how we'll do live shots from now on. Our show will be just up here. Going out to people on FaceTime. All right, well, J-Lo, we'll see you tonight in the Extra Point. Thanks for picking up, and we'll continue our Ohtani discussion here. How come the Angels didn't figure this out? I would have figured this out a year ago.
Deferred payment?
Yes. Unless he just didn't want to stay.
I mean, the Dodgers invented credit cards, I guess.
Can the Angels pay that regardless, even if they spread it over 100 years?
There's no bylaw affecting deferred payments, according to what we've seen. Now, I have not actually picked up all the bylaws and looked at them in the Major League Baseball collective bargaining agreement when it comes to contracts. Not exactly my wheelhouse, but when it comes to just this working and the Dodgers are deferring $68 million a year, what is going to stop them from doing this 5 more times?
I don't understand how this works in the future, in perpetuity. Like, can they just start doing this? Yeah, like if they're doing that with everyone. I know the Mets were paying Bobby Bonilla for the rest of his life, but
the D-backs did it in 2001 to assemble that squad. They had a ton of deferred payments. They were paying Steve Finley for years.
But this makes the Ohtani contract makes that look like, just some change
peanuts.
you found in the couch.
Yeah, interest free, so at $68 million through 2043, right?
And 2043, and Bobby Bonilla's goes through, I think, 2035. The greatest contract in the history. We should all salute Bobby Bonilla and his agents for their foresight.
He got 8% interest at least. It's more than Ohtani.
It stinks though. Like baseball's, the money situation's already just it's not good for the sport. Like, I remember looking at the payrolls at the start of this previous season and seeing where the Mets were and the Dodgers and the Yankees, and comparing it to the D-backs were spending a little bit more, but comparing it to the D-backs and the Orioles and the A's and the Rays, and it just, it ultimately, it doesn't mean everything. D-backs swept the Dodgers. The Rays are perennially good, but it still stinks.
But when it comes to just really enjoying the fact that the Diamondbacks went to the World Series, does money matter in Major League Baseball?
Yes. The D-backs, I don't know. Like, if they're going to be there again, they are spending money so far this offseason, but they have to. Like, you can't expect to get there the way they did every year. And talk about a way to throw water on going to the World Series, just seeing your division rival throw out $700 million.
It just, as a Marlins fan, is just so disheartening. Just know, we're never getting into, you could catch lightning in a bottle and make a run like the Fish did, and get bounced in the wild card with just homegrown talent or some bargain basement signings, but you're not going to be able to compete annually or just compete. It's just disheartening. It's been talked about so much. If the NFL's so popular, just parity reigns supreme.
Wasn't being a Marlins fan disheartening to begin with for the last
other than
20 years?
Other than 2.5 seasons, yeah. It's been a rough couple decades.
All right, so does this make us more interested in baseball or less interested in baseball?
Honestly, it makes me more interested because he's going to be here a lot, and he is incredible. Even it stinks that he's not pitching next year. But I this past year, past 2 seasons, I would be talking to my dad and just you need to pay attention to what this guy's doing. It's the most incredible thing maybe we've seen in our lifetime in sports. So the fact that he's going to be here and we'll watch him on TV a lot with the D-backs playing the Dodgers, that does interest me. But if I was anywhere else outside of the NL West, or if I was a diehard Diamondbacks fan and not just someone watching for pleasure, it would be disheartening.
It just kind of feels like the Breaking Bad. How does he keep getting away with this? Gift, just because the rich keep getting richer, and just I don't know. For me, I'm just so hyper focused on my team and whatever else happens. But yeah, the Ohtani I think just transcends everything. It's just so interesting, but I don't know. I was kind of hoping that he'd end up in Toronto, so I wouldn't have my team wouldn't have to play him as much. But
that was such a plant. That was such a media plant.
That was
he's in Toronto. No, he wasn't in Toronto. He didn't want to leave Los Angeles, and he doesn't probably want to not live there. But he's not going to have to pay taxes there because he can catch the heater, the private jet to Japan whenever he wants, and go sleep in his own bed. This whole thing is very well crafted.
Toronto would have been awesome because then he could have been heroic and beat the Yankees and Red Sox consistently.
Yeah. Would he have been taxed more in Toronto or California? We should have looked that up.
Is he paid in Canadian dollars?
Oh, loonies, the little coins.
Is that what they're called?
Your pocket's gonna get yeah. You've been up to I don't know what they do anymore. It's been a while.
The $5 bill, at least a couple years ago, had a hockey on it. That's cool. This is their money's way better.
Should we put American football on cash?
Why not?
The Super Bowl champions up. Yeah.
How have we not? Yeah, it's better than a Wheaties box. Right?
There we go.
You're now on the 10.
There we go. Who should we take off? We should have a whole discussion about that. Okay, but as far as the Diamondbacks go. Okay, you're adding Eduardo Rodriguez. You have 3 pitchers now that are you have a solid 3 pitchers. And Brandon Pfaadt, you have a solid 4 pitchers. You have the young guys fighting for the 5th spot. You have a pretty solid bullpen. You've added bats. There's all this smoke about will they add JD Martinez, which I would just lose my mind over, and hopefully he's the same JD Martinez or similar to in 2017. Could you see a scenario where they're even more competitive this year? I can.
Absolutely. I think with the guys they're bringing back and the guys they've brought in so far, yes, I am still just as excited as I was to watch them this past season, to see them again this coming season.
I think one of the most, the coolest things in sports is when you see a team that's been down for a number of years and just, finally, start collecting some young talent, and then they take those steps and take those steps, and then all of a sudden they make a run and get their feet wet in the playoffs, and then just seeing that gradual growth. I think that was huge for the D-backs. Exceeded expectations certainly, and probably went farther than maybe, I don't know. There's maybe some lightning in a bottle there, but I think that they're certainly poised, and now they're they've got the core ready, and just the fine tuning, the talent, and just kind of the other pieces around it, and I think that should be another interesting summer. I mean,
it should, but I mean, how unlikely is it now that you sit back and look at it and think about their road to the World Series? It's almost more stunning than I thought it was at the time, and I couldn't believe it at the time. I don't even think I appreciated just that the Dodgers weren't going to be able to hit. Even the Brewers. I mean, the Brewer, and then to go win 2 in Philly, that might have been the sports moments of a lifetime. For me, it was.
It felt like it. I mean, in the moment, I was talking about it feeling a lot like the Suns in 2021.
Yes.
The years get confusing. Yeah, like a team that in that Suns team also, it was like everyone is coming back. Like, this is going to be around for a while now.
Does that just show how fleeting sports is?
It does.
Especially your college football
does.
team with the transfer portal. We're so in the moment. This podcast, I think there's some outdated stuff from the beginning of this podcast, probably, because it's moving so fast.
Well, it's like Seinfeld said, you just cheer for laundry. I mean, the players cycling so frequently, it just
Oh, I'll tell you what though, I love Jerry Seinfeld, and that is mostly true. What we're seeing with the Suns right now, though, makes that not entirely true.
Because it's not Friday night. Were you down there on Friday night?
Yeah. Now, Friday was a kind of a separate thing. It was bizarre.
Right.
Because the start of that game, the whole first quarter, actually, it was 25% full at Footprint Center, which was strange considering the atmosphere the last couple of years. But there were 2 legit factors around that. And one was that the game wasn't added to the schedule until midnight Tuesday. When they lose to the Lakers. And then from everything I was told, the traffic downtown with the Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks concert next door at Chase Field was people saying the worst they've ever seen downtown.
Wow.
Which is kind of hard to believe, considering we just had a World Series going on at the same time as the Suns were playing at home. So those are 2 legit factors. But even before that game, the previous Saturday, the Grizzlies game, and the Grizzlies, it's a bad roster right now, but it was so sleepy in there, and that's not the first time this season that it's felt like that. And when I tweeted out a video of what the arena looked like in the first quarter, there were a number of responses about, tickets just came available, or tickets are too expensive, or the traffic, and all that stuff is legit. But I also got a number of responses from people that were like, I'm tired of the injuries. This team isn't winning at home.
I've heard that a lot, yeah.
And this team isn't fun. This isn't the Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson campaign.
You got to get there early and watch him warm up because of the dance party. I totally agree with that. Remember Mikal Bridges with the sword pregame? And they would get DeAndre going, and then Campaign was just in a trance.
They were just a super, super lovable team that this state fell absolutely in love with.
Mm-hmm. And they broke their heart.
And this group is not that. And it can be.
Yeah.
I mean, if the big 3 ever take the court together,
big if,
and they start winning, people will, I'm sure, mostly be back on board to follow a winner. But right now, when consistently 1, if not 2 of the big 3 are hurt and you're not winning, people are very lukewarm, is my sense.
All right, final topic here. Totally agree with you. Your Steelers, how are they doing?
We don't need to talk about it.
Marlins and Steelers.
I mean,
are you the only Marlins and Steelers and Sun Devils fan that you know of?
I'm all over the board. I mean, yeah, just growing up here.
I love it. I love it.
Growing up here, the Cardinals and D-backs, they missed the chance. So Coyotes, they filled the need. So.
Oh, there we go. But you're a hockey player, right?
I am. Goalie, playing Wednesdays.
Yeah. Oh, we should probably get a camera out there and follow you around. Okay, so Cardinals beat the Steelers. We won't talk more about that. They have the Niners coming to town this weekend. Joe, behind the glass there, he's wearing a Niners hat. You can't see him. Final score prediction this week?
31-10.
31-10. Do we agree with that? Brock Purdy comes home.
Probably a 3-score win.
Yeah.
I would imagine at least 38 points from San Francisco's side.
38-10, 38-17.
13.
38-13.
I think the line is 13.5.
Okay.
Which was similar to the Drew Lock Seahawks line.
So could I say that the Cardinals scored 23.5? No, I can't. I'm gonna say the Cardinals cover.
Okay.
Yeah. 38-24. Now that's way too many points.
The Niners are unequivocally the best team in the NFL right now.
Right. I can't wait to see them play the Cowboys again. I mean, Dak's playing like an MVP candidate, but it's just, you saw earlier this season.
I like Dak a lot.
I do too. Yeah.
But inevitably, so that kicker that played soccer at Notre Dame, I think he's like, has he not missed this year? Am I right about that?
The Cowboy kicker from Plano?
Yeah, he hasn't missed field goals. He's missed extra points.
Okay. He made a 60-yarder.
Another great name for a podcast.
A 50-yarder last night. It is inevitable that he misses with them down 1 in the playoffs, right?
1,000%.
Against the Niners. Okay. We're recording this, right?
Time code this. Let's go.
All right. 18, 14, 30, 31. All right, so Joe says Niners all the way. We'll have a post-game show here. Cardinals, just lose, baby, lose. I think you pull Kyler after this week. You find a way to. Just got to get a good
No, we
draft.
need to see him.
What else do you need to see? We'll finish on that.
I need to see.
What could you see if Hollywood Brown's out against the Niners? Like, he's going to get killed.
That might be fair, but I'm going to steal from Frank Vogel talking about he needed to see Bradley Beal stack practices before he could return to the court in a game. I need to see Kyler's stack performances. Like if every other week is like up, down, up, down, up, down, that doesn't instill a ton of confidence going forward.
Yeah, I didn't like what I saw from Kyler 2 weeks ago, but that's because he was doing well and against a defense that made no adjustments whatsoever. I don't know. I've never been too high on him. I see the potential. I just don't know that he's ever going to realize, and it's now coming off the injury. Yeah, just kind of like the up and down nature of it. And he's not going to do well this week just because of the nature of the Niners defense. But what's the consensus if they somehow are in a position to grab Caleb Williams?
I don't think you can trade his contract. I just wanted to know, can he come back from a knee injury and win football games? I think he can. I mean, if you are able to trade his contract, I think you do that, but I don't even think you draft a quarterback. I mean, it would be, I think there's a lot of other needs on the team. And if you are able to trade his contract, like just let Tune play next year and get some more good draft picks. I think Monty's going to rebuild this roster pretty quick here. And I think they're stuck with Kyler, but I think he shows he can win games. Can he win the Super Bowl? Can he see over the line of scrimmage? I don't know. But I think beating the Steelers to me was him declaring, I've still got this, and I can go win you football games.
Did you see play Clayton Tune next year too?
Oh God.
Or just this year?
I would play him at the end of this year, and I think you could make a case for, just finding your quarterback in a couple years, finding the right quarterback. But you might have the right quarterback on your roster, and you're paying him, and I don't think you're going to be able to trade him. So he's your quarterback.
I know where you can get a great deal on a used Mitch Trubisky.
Bring him in here. 4th and 2.
I wouldn't wish
Chuck
that on
it deep,
anybody.
Mitch.
Every throw off the back foot.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I think we accomplished a lot here. We hope you've been entertained. We'll try to get Julia Lopez's phone to work. And Brad, thanks for staying 17 minutes later than we asked you to. So, and thanks for wearing a sport coat, Nick. You look nice.
Thank you.
The Extra Point Podcast is a production of 3TV, CBS 5, and azfamily.com in Phoenix, Arizona.